So a question that got submitted to us by a lot of people is, one can retire with the full benefits under the PERS 2 system. So I'll cover both 2 and 3. So for the most part, they're going to be the same. There's no distinction between PERS, TERS, SERS, 2 or 3. I always talk about them, all together because they have, for the most part, the same rules. It's the same retirement benefits, the same retirement formulas. There isn't a clear distinction between them. It's really just who your employer is. Your contribution rates on the Plan 2 side may be different, but other than that, a lot of the inner workings of them are going to be very similar. So full retirement benefits for Plan 2 and Plan 3 are the exact same. Now for full retirement benefits, when they say full, it's the age you can collect it without taking a penalty. It's age 62, as long as you have 30 years of service and you were hired and started putting money into the pension system prior to May 1st of 2013. So if you're hired before May 1st of 2013 and you have 30 years of service credits, you're eligible to take in full at age 62. Now, for those of us that have less than 30 years of service credits, or we were hired after May 1st of 2013, our full retirement benefits are at age 65. So for the new folks or people that got started a little bit later, 65 is considered the full retirement age. So the age you can collect without receiving any type of penalty or reduction to your benefits. Now, one of the biggest errors that a lot of people think, and I see this all the time, is they will work longer than they really should because they don't want to take a penalty. They don't want to take the reduction because penalties are put in our mind as bad. We don't want to have anything less because they penalize me. But in the same breath, they'll say that they plan to take their Social Security at age 62 without realizing that Social Security is the exact same thing. When they say, hey, this is your full retirement age is age 67, that's your full Social Security. It's the amount you get without any reductions. Taking it at 62, they show that lesser amount and they show it as an option. They never state that it is a 30% or near 30% reduction in your benefits, or they never list it as a penalty. So a lot of people have in their minds where, hey, I have to work till 65 or have to work till 62 because I want to take a penalty, but then they turn around and take a 30% penalty from Social Security without thinking twice about it. Now, depending on how close to retirement and if you were, have to go 65 or if you're eligible for 62, the reductions may not be as scary as you think. I've covered this multiple times, but when you have 30 years of service, they only charge you a 2% penalty to go 1 year early and an extra 3% to go a year before that. So it's a 5% penalty to go at age 60, right? And that's a lot better than taking a 30% reduction to collect your Social Security at age 62. So you're going to take something early, it's usually better off taking the pension. Now, yesterday, I actually met with 2 people who were planning to retire early, but both of them did not have 30 years of service credits, and they were in their early 60s. So for both those meetings, we had to try to calculate if it was worth them taking a penalty, collecting their benefits right now, even if they don't have 30 years of service credits. Now, if you don't have 30 years of service credits, the difference is they actually hit you pretty hard with the reductions. It's about 9% per year. It's really just under 10. So it's something like you only get like 90% of your benefit if you go 1 year early. It's like 81 and change at year 2 and things like that. So in this case, we had one person thinking of going about 3 years early and one about 4. So they're getting between 30 to 25% reduction from going at this time. Now, a lot of people look at that and say, no, thanks, and just turn around. And that was my first gut reaction. Normally, when I'm doing early retirement benefits, it's people with 30 years. So the math is a lot easier when the penalty is only 5% and not 25%. But we dove into it. And in both cases, I gave these individuals a green light to go ahead and take it early and just bite the bullet on the 30 to 25% deduction. The reason being, you only live once. There's health complications in both matters. Second, when you do the math on how much I'm actually going to get from the system by taking it early, even with the reduction, it really just works out. So one of these people was Plan 2, one was Plan 3. So I worked with both systems when I did this. So even though you are taking that reduction, you get to collect that benefit early, right? So for example, I had one person that was on Plan 2, 20 years of service credits. We figured his monthly benefit was going to be about $2,400. So we met with one individual who was Plan 2. His benefit estimate from the state after taking the penalty was about $2,400. Without the penalty, it was closer to about $3,200 or so. So he was taking about $800 per month reduction for life, which is about $7,000 less, which sounds big on the surface. But if you do the math on it, even though we're getting less, we're also going to get it 3 full years early. So before he even got till that 65 age, that person would have banked about $86,000, right? That's in their pocket taken from the system. So even though they got less, So even though they're getting less, they've already pulled $86,000 more than the person that waited till age 65. Now, the person that would have waited age 65, well, they wouldn't have taken a penalty, and now they have more benefits. It's going to take them a while to catch back up. How long will it take you to make up that deficit, right? If you're trying to just do how much total wealth can I get from the state? So that's when I say break even, that's what we look at, is how long would it take? And in both cases, it was about 15 years or so before it caught up. Right, so if I waited to 65, it wasn't until age 80 before I started technically getting more money out of the system in total from the state. Some people don't plan on living past 80. Some people just want to enjoy the money now, and others bite the bullet and take it. Now, that 15-year figure is worst case scenario. That's assuming no cost of living adjustments. Because remember, as soon as you start taking the pension, as long as you are taking it before July 1st, you become eligible for the cost of living adjustment the second year. So you only have that full penalty technically for 1 year. Year 2, you're going to get some type of cost of living adjustment, hopefully. If it's a 3% benefit, it's going to creep into it. So you're not taking as big of a penalty anymore. And that is always going to compound on itself. So by the time you get to, at 65, the reduction, instead of being $100 a month shy, it's probably closer to $700 or so. So it's not as big a reduction. And what it does is it pushes the break-even age from age 80 to often past 85 or well into the 90s, and sometimes as well. So just because they say there's an early penalty or you don't have 30 days of service does not mean you can't take it early or it doesn't make financial sense. As long as the numbers after all the penalties are still able to meet your living needs and cover your expenses, then I don't see any reason why you would delay your retirement. At the end of the day, you got one life to live. You don't know what tomorrow brings. And if you can make it work now, then do it. There's always going to be the case to work from your wait, and you're giving up your really good years. Your early retirement years are your best years. And waiting longer for more financial security, well, in some cases, it's maybe necessary. Oftentimes, I always encourage people to retire early. Studies will show that people, when they retire early, you have less stress, will actually live longer or have happier lives. So I'm always going to be the advocate. When I see in the client's best interest to retire early and that's what they want, we're going to do everything in our power to try to make it work. And again, if it doesn't work, I'm going to be the first to tell them that it ain't going to happen. When I do the financial plans, I try every way to break it. I increase inflation in different ways. I run investment returns at 0%, very low percentages. We do all of the different, what if the market crashes at this time? So we try every way to break someone's retirement plan. So when we give someone the green light, they can feel pretty confident that it's going to be pretty successful and it's going to take something extraordinary to throw us off. And even in that case, for many state employees, as long as the guaranteed income is there ain't much that can really happen to really derail someone's retirement unless they're spending way above their means. All right, so I rambled on enough about this today. If you guys have questions or want to come in and meet with us, if you have questions, the link to get on our calendar is going to be listed below. Keep in mind that track season's coming up, and as a track coach, I'm usually busy in the afternoon, so I have some appointments available, late evenings, 5:30, 6 o'clock p.m., but between 2 and 6 o'clock, I'll probably be at the track unavailable. My business partner has some personal leave coming up. So if you guys want to meet with us, we'll be available in the late evenings. Mornings are always a great option. Otherwise, you may have to wait till after track season. But if you guys have the questions, you can always get on our calendar for that. We also have our new school group, which is only for Washington employees. That's where I prefer people to go for questions. So unless you really need the face-to-face time, if you want to save the costs of our consultation, you can always go in and ask basic questions inside the school group. I have over 60 people in there, all state employees, all with lots of experience. And if they know the answer to the question, I'm sure they'll hop right in and help you out, get those answered as well. So we're building the community there. So go ahead and check it out. It's free. I'll put the link in the description below. And until next time, remember that your future depends what you do today.